Hey everyone, and happy week 9 or finals week of our quarter together. So, as you guys know, the only thing we have working for us this week is our final paper, which has to do with the Value of Life module and Tuesdays with Maury. So, if you look under Schoology for ERWC, you'll see that there's a new week at the bottom, and all it says is week 9 finals. There's not much to it because you guys know that you're just working on your paper, but you'll see that your Tuesdays with Maury folder is there. Your Value of Life reading packet has also been moved down here, so it's easy to find because you will need to use 2 sources for your final paper. There's the introduction, examples and tips that I'm going to go over in this video, and then finally where you will submit your paper. So if you look back at the prompt is here, and we went over this in class together, but just to be clear, you're writing a 5-paragraph essay on what you think we should value in life after having finished your packet and having finished Tuesdays with Maury. So you'll see all of the requirements here, so please include those things. You need a philosophical quote in your introduction. You're going to need 3 sources minimum. One of them will be Tuesdays with Maury, and the 2 others will come from your packet reader. You'll have to use 3 they say, I say templates highlighted and include a works cited page. So we've gone over this. The prompt is here, so read that. And then here is a brainstorming option for you. You can see how each of the 5 paragraphs will be laid out, and hopefully this will be easy for you to get through. I have gone ahead and written an introduction example for you and found some really helpful tips that I think will help you get the best score on this. If you go back to the assignment, you can find the rubric, and I would definitely recommend that you spend a few minutes looking at the rubric to see what you're going to be graded on. So don't forget to use a philosophical quote and write your thesis statement. Don't forget to use 3 sources. Don't forget to use 3 they say, I say templates and highlight them in your paper. I'm not a they say, I say expert, so I don't know which statements are coming from the book unless you highlight them. And then finally, cups and your works cited page. So this is how you'll be graded, so I recommend you looking at this. But if you go back here, and this is posted for you in week 9, it's right here, an introduction example and some tips. So my first tip is to notice the MLA formatting. This is the correct header for an MLA paper. So before you even start your paper, make sure you're typing your heading this way. Everything should be double spaced. Everything should be 12-point font. So I have mine in Times New Roman, 12-point font, and over here, it's double spaced. So make sure those are all of the things that your paper is incorporating for just some easy formatting points. So here's my introduction. Remember, it needs a thesis and a philosophical quote. So I have my quote in yellow and my thesis in purple, and here's what it says. The world as we know it is constantly evolving. So, how is one supposed to put a quantitative measure on the value of life? Is the value of life clear-cut, prescribed writings that encompass all individuals? Or are we lucky enough to live in a world that offers diversity and choice when it comes to the values of life? Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard said that life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. And I believe that the value of an individual's life can only be measured individually. In order to experience reality, as Kierkegaard said, we should base our value of life not on material possessions, but rather on our health and well-being, our curiosity and zeal for new experiences and learning, and our overall joyfulness. So that's my introduction paragraph. It's not super long, it doesn't have a lot to it, but it does have the 2 requirements of a quote and a thesis statement. So when you're writing yours, make sure that you have those 2 pieces and then a little bit of background. I used a lot of rhetorical questions. If that works for you too, then go ahead and use that formatting as well. So here are tips and reminders. We said the MLA formatting. We said to include a quote and thesis statement. The next tool that I found has to do with citations. So you know that when you are writing a paper that has citations, you have two things: a works cited page that has a whole list of every source that you've used, and then you also have the in-text citations, where at the end of the sentence, you'll put the credit or give credit to the author. So I found this really cool tool on Google Docs that I think would help a lot of us, and these are the steps to get there. So if you hit Tools, Citations, this will pop up for you. I already made a citation for Tuesdays with Maury, but this wouldn't be here when you first log in. You would need to hit Citation, and remember we're in MLA. You would hit Citation. Maybe you are using a journal article. Where would you access it? Website, and then you're going to fill in all of this information, kind of like how you would on EasyBib, but this is easier. Once you get your information in here, what it does is it'll put it into a source for you. So it already has my first source, which is Tuesdays with Maury, and you'll see this blue button that pops up that says Cite, and then it has a little black bar, and the black bar says Insert in-text citation. So let's say in your next paragraph somewhere, and this is just an example, you're writing a sentence, right? It's a quote from Tuesdays with Maury that's referencing the value of life. You finish your quote, and you can open this up and hit Cite, and it will put your in-text citation there for you. And it even gives you a little prompt here. Replace the pound sign with page number. So let's say that this comes from 65. There's your in-text citation. Once you have 2 or 3 of these, it'll be super easy for you to just come over and click, 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 and get all of these in-text citations correctly. The other really great thing that it has is at the bottom, it says Insert Bibliography. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. But it says Insert Bibliography. So once you have your 3 sources, if you hit this button, I'm actually going to come to the bottom, and you hit Insert Bibliography, it'll put it there for you. The only difference is it's not your bibliography, it's your works cited page. But it'll have them in alphabetical order, it will have that indentation that you need, and it'll just be a super easy way for you to click one button. You don't have to copy and paste, you don't have to listen to ads. So use that to your advantage, and again, those steps are right here for you, starting with tools at the top. So that's the citation tip for you. Number 3 says include your 3 sources in a works cited page. Tuesdays with Maury should be one of your sources, and then you can use 2 articles that we've read together. The next thing that you would do after writing your introduction is you would write body paragraphs. These body paragraphs are going to each be focused on one of your values of life. So you'll see my 3 things that I think we should value are here. And so I broke my topic sentences into examples for you. So you'll see that my first value, second value, and third value, and each topic sentence highlights one of them. And then in that paragraph, I would use sources, I would use Tuesday with Maury to back up why I think we should value that in life. You would use a couple in-text citations in those body paragraphs, and then you would move on to your conclusion. So those are my reminders for actually writing the paper. If you scroll on to page 2, you'll see some tips and reminders about works cited pages. So obviously you can use that text citation little tool that I showed you, but here are some reminders just in case. It should always be titled Works Cited, it should be right in the center, and this is always size 12 and always a new page. Your Works Cited should be a completely separate page from everything. Your sources should be in alphabetical order, and you don't need to number them. They have what's called a hanging indent. If you've ever looked at a long works cited page and you notice that the first line starts farther over and then the subsequent lines almost look like they're indented, like they're starting a new paragraph. So if you want to learn how to format a hanging indent, you can follow these steps. I linked an example here for you, so you can click on it and look at this example. Just from this little preview, you can see what I mean. These hanging words are the start of your new sources, and that's how you can count how many sources have been used. This is an example of hanging indent. And so those are just some tips and reminders for you for the works cited page of your essay. Overall, it's a 5-page essay. It's due by Friday. There's an extension to March 19th if you need it. If you have questions on your paper or you have concerns, you can email me. You can ask me in class. You can attend Zoom and we can talk about it. But hopefully this paper feels easier than the first one you did. And now having all of these tips and reminders, it should be very easy for you.